Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking about Deepwoken and whether or not you should get it. Thing is, Deepwoken's been out for about 3 months now, and I only got into it pretty recently, with me owning the game months before now, but I've really only gotten to playing it just now. So, Deepwoken right now, it is one of my favorite games that I play, but I remember playing it alone in the beginning and how it feel that way. So, if you're thinking about getting Deepwoken and you're not completely sure, then there are a few things you should keep in mind of. First, is that it's a really rage-inducing game. There's so many times where I just wanted to smash my monitor and never play Deepwoken again, because I would lose like a level 40 frost draw or something. And the thing is, if you're not okay with those types of games, and that makes you mad, then you shouldn't get it, because that happens a lot, especially when you're alone. I only like to play the game with friends, because then it's a more fun experience. You can all work together towards common goals, especially if you all start at the same level, and it makes you all less likely to get wiped, which is a pretty big part of why you shouldn't get it in the first place, or why you should. Wiping is something I've only recently come to terms with me originally losing my highest level character and not being so happy about it. Thing is, in this game, if you get wiped, it's not always the worst thing to happen to you. You can actually recover from it, and sometimes even getting wiped can help you as a player because it makes you better, gives you what you need to do, and those 2 pass down items can really give you a better head start. If you're still wondering whether or not you should get it because of the combat aspect of the game, and whether or not you feel like you're gonna lose every time, I wouldn't let you put that down, especially if you're playing with friends. This really does change the game for a lot of people. I've seen a lot of my friends who would never play the game alone, but when we play Deepwoken together, it's always a blast, and we just love to hop on and play. And especially just when we're messing around, grinding on random islands, looking for the best things. It is a really fun time with your friends, and I would highly recommend it. The thing is, sometimes people are going to play alone, and that's true. If you want to play alone, then there are a few things you should take in mind. If you are deciding to play alone, and you don't really have any friends, or a guild, or whatever, it's going to be really hard for you. And unless if you are some demon at parrying, or you have the best build ever, you might want to stay away from other players, especially if they're a higher level or if they're in a guild. I remember almost every time I went out alone, I would be caught by some really high level player, get wiped instantly. It's not a fun experience. So if you really think you're only going to be playing solo, and you're not good with being wiped in games or losing all your progress, then this definitely won't be the game for you. But it will be the game for a lot of you. And honestly, I have had so much enjoyment in this game, solo or multiplayer, because after a while, you realize that even though you're getting wiped and losing all of your progress, there's nothing stopping you from just starting again and continuing to play the game. It never really stops. That's what Deepwoken is. You get wiped, you lose everything, but really sometimes the best thing that can happen to you might be the worst. Because going to level 60 with the wrong build is always annoying. It happened to me once. I would lose level 30 players, 20 players, no matter how good I was. I would always just drop health steadily on an incline. And that's always a big problem. But if you can come to terms with yourself and you know that when you're playing a game, you can actually deal with these things, and you can get through the fact that you won't always be able to just boot up and have a bunch of loot still, which is what makes this game really interesting. The value itself of Deepwoken is 400 Robux right now on the game's page, which I feel like is a fair price, because if you were to buy any other game for $5 on Roblox right now, then you most likely won't have nearly as much fun as you'll have with Deepwoken, especially if you're playing with friends, or you're just if you get a private server to play on, it is always just a blast to play. But those challenges do make it really hard to play alone, So it is your decision there. If you know that you won't play a game like this very often, so though you know you're going to be constantly wiped, you'll never have fun, you'll never know the right build, then it isn't worth the price tag. And I know some people have so much fun in this game, they get multiple characters, multiple different accounts, private servers, anything they can to increase their chances of being better at the game. Which, for a casual player, you don't really have to do. It's more of a simple thing, because Deepwoken is just pretty much the same game, but the community is what makes it different, because in other games, it's always toxic, and that's the same here, especially in a combat game that results in you losing all of your progress on death. It's a given that it's going to be very toxic, and toxic environments, although they are really bad, and sometimes they can just be generally annoying, it still does make the game a little fun, because that means you can always get your payback, because one day you'll be as good as the other players who are killing you, and then it'll really be fun. But if you want to have a fun casual experience, then this game just isn't for you. My final point of this video is to go over what is somewhat the most challenging part of the game. The first island, Arisia. And although it's a low-level island, so it doesn't seem like much challenge, this is where you learn the fundamentals of the game, and you come back every single time, no exceptions unless you're doing Rule 1. And honestly, this is the biggest curve. I've seen people who play the game get super excited and then drop it at Arisia because they get wiped by some high-level player who's grinding luck. And this might happen to you. It definitely happened to me. It's why I quit originally, and only came back recently once more matured, and I can understand how to actually have fun on a game like this. Because if you are rage heavy and your rage doesn't just go to the point where you're mad, it actually can go into your playstyle and it can affect you, then you shouldn't play. Because I know a lot of people who like games like Dark Souls who also like this game because of its rogue aspect, except you get to play with friends. Many of the times, when you quit on the first island, that already means you're not going to have fun. So, if you're going to do that, then you should probably know in advance. If you're still debating whether or not to get this game, then you really need to just watch some videos about it, see what really is Deepwoken, and the experience that people have on this game. Right now, in the background, I have video playing of the game, of me just casually running around on Song Seeker, looking for some enemies to kill while we grind levels, so I can finally get off my last life. But it's not always going to work out. Just like this. So, honestly, it is your choice. Whatever you want to do, you can. But I know that if you enjoy games that are almost roguelike, or with your friends, ship battles, an RPG experience where you have so much to lose but so much to gain at the same time, then you should do it. Alright guys, thank you for watching. I really want to do more of these videos, so any support is appreciated. Likes, subscribe, send a comment, whatever you want. I'll be here all the time, responding. If you ever need anything, you have any questions about any games that I've been playing on my channel, then just feel free to ask. And I will see you all in the next video. Peace.